30 poets, 29 poems, outdoor voices in an indoor world. Volume 16.
I promise I'm not a serial lover. I've just ended up with a series of lovers who became sketches in my storyboards, depictions of women who were around for the scripting outline of my movie but didn't make it past the credits. What a closer, closure, how cinematic an ending of what I thought would be a classic to be replayed over and over like Love Jones. I want to love like Darius and Nina. Without the cigarettes, cue more poetry and photography to replace the toxicity. Still in all black because black women are the essence of beauty cut. I want a love that sets my soul on fire and lies in the bed of ashes with me. I want a love like a watered flower, the kind that grows above the soil where the sun is raised by roots and the petals are paternal to the sky's glory. I want a love that is aware of my trauma but doesn't think I'm broken because of it. I want a love that sees beyond my soul's gated community into my heart's home where my true self is, a safe space where the armor is left at the door. I want a love that prays with me and not just on Sunday mornings, but this love, a beacon of hopeful reasons to keep on loving through all the seasons that don't feel warm or nostalgic. I want a love that embodies this poem because I believe that love exists. No matter how many reasons I'm given to believe different, because love is where we start and where we end. I believe that love is somewhere soft like sugar scrub lips, and forgiving like gifts, forgiving like gifts. Real love is authentic. It's an original poem like this. It has tiger stripes to indicate the strength it takes to prevail. Stretch me beyond my normal capacity. A love that pulls like gravity. Leave your mark on me because I want to grow more than I want to be right. I want a love that speaks through me like God. An uncomfortable feeling but an undeniable outcome. You can feel it but you can't explain it. You can hide from it but you can't resist it. Now tell me, am I being unrealistic? Am I pretty much delusional to think that I can actually manifest this? The answer is yes. I believe in the power in my voice, i.e. this stage performance. Whatever I speak already is written.
Friendship.exe. Extract all friend files. Problem has been detected. The system has been shut down to prevent damage to your friends list. Perhaps it was damaged anyway. Your friendship ran into a problem and needs to restart. You have reached the end of your friendship. Error, the friend file is missing. Try reinstalling the friendship program. Please contact your friendship administrator. The friend application failed to install properly. Press any key to continue your friendship. A friendship file with that name already exists. Friendship.doc already exists. An unknown error occurred. 404. Friendship not found.
She says to me, "Why do you do that?" The code switch. Back to that slang from the old neighborhood. You're educated. It makes you sound ignorant. I was thinking about big wheels and having money for the ice cream truck and how good it felt to not have to be on all day. She was thinking about paper food stamp booklets, block cheese, and roach bombs. It gets hot under the mask. Sometimes when I get comfortable, I say ain't and finna. When I speak to the other person of color in my work group, get too familiar. Assume we have something no one else can relate to. He gets indignant, lets me know he's from the suburbs, he went to private school, feels offended that I dumbed down the conversation as if he would know the ways of hood rats. White coworker doesn't understand why we can't just speak the language properly without the slang that he doesn't understand. He looks at me like he's never seen me before when my higher-pitched, white people-friendly customer service voice drops to its natural alto and say, "But that ain't no way for a nigga to live, fiddler." Truth is, proper English isn't my first language. The broken English, Ebonics, whatever the fuck they want to call it is, and sometimes I just want to go home, back to the old neighborhood when we all spoke the same way, before school taught us we were ignorant, before we knew that education meant assimilation, meant erasure, before I knew how many people liked me better with my mask on.
Robin Williams once said that comedy is a cathartic way to deal with trauma. So it could be the very reason why I found myself sitting in my car, rocking away to a random playlist of "I Got 5 on It," or next track, "I'm Never Gonna Dance Again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm." Despite how crazy I must look and sound, because laughter is one of the best forms of medicine to help combat this depression. And my granddaddy was a master at spinning a good joke, mixing up some of the best advice that one can give to a child who was always drunk on self-pity, showing me at a young age that a punchline has to be crafted with purpose, that every word written must hit as intended, so from the moment I touch this stage, utter these words into this microphone, that you feel everything that I have to give, because comedy, poetry is give and take. This craft of ours thrives off your reaction or the lack thereof. Really. Crickets, anyone? Plus, I do have the obsession to know whether or not I've either failed or succeeded in my task, because every bit of emotion I give you is genuine. Every tear I shed comes from deep underneath my exterior, because every smile, every hug, every "I love you" is authentic. Like how every moment I contemplate whether I've given enough of myself to this poem is real. From my sarcasm all the way down to my corniest of jokes, just because I know it will help to break the monotony in the room. Like, when I woke up this morning, what did I say to my reflection? Hey, stop copying me. Because laughter is contagious. It helps me to smile through the day. Helps me to find the motivation, to find the humor in my trauma, because I've heard so many comedians talk about how they had to find the strength to laugh at their own pain, so nothing became a footnote in their very own story. Count the day that I took all my pain, threw it in a notebook, called it my poetry, because writing gives me a way to no longer allow these dead beats in my head to live rent free. So give me Def Jam, give me In Living Color, give me us turn our demons into more punchline and less of a death sentence. Because Robin Williams showed me that yes, tragedy plus time does equal comedy. And I've given too much of my attention to my suffering and not enough of my focus to the brighter side of life that makes these jokes funny. Gives my poetry purpose in the first place.
Sometimes the only difference between a revolutionary and a terrorist is the one holding the pen is mightier than the sword. What a privilege it must be to hold both. And because only white men get to make history books, then white men will only get to make history books. America didn't want her children to learn about her dirty laundry, so she whitewashed sheets of paperbacks and hardcovers after she manifest destiny and eminent domained her way into glory. America got her first jollies off genocide. Therefore, white supremacy has always been taught in schools, but God forbid the kids start learning it's a bad thing. Like teaching histories only start with discoveries. Christopher Columbus stole from the indigenous, took their land, raped and killed them, yet we were taught that they were the savages. Ain't that ass backwards? Ain't that just like America, though? To praise the Confederacy while denying the slavery it tried to uphold, calling it states' rights, the to own black lives part is always silent, while self-proclaimed lovers of America take pride in the side that committed treason. Decorated in the same violent colors, so busy trying to tell the world how it saved it from itself, America forgot to include the other 2/5 of me in the Constitution. Left out the part about the forefathers' illegitimate kids who they swear were just dying to help build this country. They banned teaching history correctly like they got something to hide. Like Southern/white pride just stopped at Mason-Dixon lines, and somehow segregation didn't create a division, but learning about it did. So right-wing politicians would rather books be as empty and spineless as them. You would think that those willing to kill thought know that it takes more than 451 degrees to burn a body of work to destroy all the evidence. So don't tell me that kids don't learn about race when the first time I was called a nigger was in the 5th grade. Or in 8th grade, when I was told the color of my skin made me look like shit, but yet they are so concerned with making white kids feel guilty, but not afraid to make black kids feel unseen. So the same white parents who don't want their kids to learn about racism in school teach them racism at home. And little black kids get sent to school named after the same people who fought to keep them uneducated, leaving all children behind and in the dark. History's greatest fires were sparked by the same people who put lighters to literature, gaslighting the world they set on fire. The word Holocaust comes from the word burnt. Didn't they come for the intellectuals first? So black authors are told that they aren't credible sources to their own experiences, while brave teachers and professors lose their tenure and livelihoods, while school boards waste taxpayer money on erasing school boards, leaving kids to repeat history's lessons the hard way. But I guess lawmakers can't fail being on the right side of history if all the children's questions are left blank. Thank you.
The Bodyssey one. You get to a stage in life when your understanding clarifies and your body's aches intensify. A pain, pulled muscle, a compression of the spine reminds you of your youth. Each old injury wasn't healed. It turned out it was just aging. Fine wine in a cask or casket. The body is a vintage of cellular hits. You wake in the morning when the aches aren't so bad. You think, well, you don't think. You assume this is normal, like the ways cells silently, distantly divide all the time in your body. But then other days you wake and the pain's right there, pulling, throbbing as widespread as the sun, and you thinking to yourself, my body's done.
The scripture says that he who is without a uterus should shut the fuckers up about it. We are tired of men who never have this meeting telling us about our issues of blood, our menses, because men don't see it just because Moses parted the Red Sea and just because it was wet did not give him the right to enter with his staff in his hand, giving us commandments. See, man has always managed to try and rule over women, back alley conceptions about contraception. I guess that's why they call it a hysterectomy. Men wanting to control contraceptives but can't even find the clit. This male body of Congress creating bylaws about our bodies that by law seem to belong to them now. Ain't that a miscarriage of justice? Mystery begging to be aborted. How spontaneously they deliver the fate of our future when they ain't the ones in labor for it. So to these men who come together, prematurely ejaculating these thoughts about our bodies and our rights, put on this minstrel show about our menstrual flow. Ain't y'all sick of the cycle? Okay, maybe your mother's parenthood was planned.
Maybe she just gave prevention a shot. And I know this will be a hard one for you to digest. But I'm sure your mother looks at you now, wishes there'd been a pill to take for the morning after your arrival, wishing she would have swallowed instead of birthing the spitting image of our forefathers, although Uncle Sam ain't got shit on Aunt Flo. But since we're too far along for Plan B, we'll go full term with Plan C, see how long we plan to let these men continue before the blood begins flowing. It's theirs. Okay.
Mac Miller did this song called The Star Room. So I have it quoted here. The Star Room, because I used two quotes, one at the beginning and one at the very end. But my title for this piece is On the Life Cycle of Stars. Stars like stars in the sky, but stars like famous people. Like, yeah, and if God was a human, it'd be yours truly. Who's a star dweller to live on Earth? A supernova on pause, a painful explosion trapped in time. No wonder some people are built to implode under outside pressure, compromise structural integrity, make a gravity well out of their belly, a black hole in their chest, a place that light can't escape no matter how much it kisses you like your last lover. Sometimes good vibes ain't enough to sustain a soul, so we sing a prayer twice as potent, if I remember church right. And if we string together a rosary of prayer, it becomes a litany of future saints begging for salvation. Death by suicide, can't fear the words. Gotta say it plain before we fly to another plane, before we greet our bodies goodbye. You don't see what you don't want to. Like people don't scream out for footholds, hang from the edge, clammy hands reaching and reaching until the muscles strain and the sinew tears and you fall to despair. Icarus's wings on your back, a faulty mechanism for salvation. They melt under the heat of you, you star, you implosion in progress, you time-shielded supernova, you God crushed under your own weight. Dreaming of places, my own personal creations. If there's a party in heaven, I plan to leave wasted.
A newborn died, shivering from cold, cruel laughter and fright. A weak wean, barely clinging like an autumn leaf, forced from a warm womb into the middle of an auction, standing exposed, stripped of her every right, dissolving, disappearing, sinking like the last strand of pink in the darkening sky. The rescuers took her away from her tormentors, snatching a fragile life from a brutal existence and a worse death. But they couldn't keep her alive. Don't get me wrong, they gave her their hearts, overflowing with love, tender care, promise of a free life. But the frail first hours of her life snapped like a twig, twisted around the icy fingers of time. Born to a dairy slave who never saw the sun or the stars or her child. Dejected, deprived, desolate. Somehow the infant dragged through the day. Her umbilical cord hung sorely from her delicate body. But it couldn't be her lifeline tonight. A helpless baby girl died.
And then I got older. This is called Used to Be. Used to be slim, used to be trim, used to get wouldn't mind getting with him. Used to be star in the gay bar, used to get how handsome you are. Used to take mates out on dates, fighting him now over my strengths. Used to be fit, work out a bit, used to get look at the bottom on it. Used to be young, used to be hung, used to climb up, top of the run. Used to get pulled, used to get called, names which now I feel pulled. Used to dance big, sat in their seat, or to gay men calling us meat. We were just toys, over to the noise, West End girls, pet shop boys. Used to be twins, used to half think, they just saw me, bit of a young link. Used to wear two, white Jimmy Choo, tight collar fit, camouflage blue. Used to wear double, over my bubble, men and their shit, nothing but trouble. Back to the shop, used to quick swap, poo on my chew on my chop. Never thought bad, used to be glad, attention I had, scantily clad. Used to shave hair, head and elsewhere, all over smooth, me I like Belle. Used to be slim, used to be trim, used to get wouldn't mind getting with him. Used to be felt, yeah, always felt, not a kind hand, cause being dealt. Used to let men over again, made me feel I, 1 out of 10. Yeah, I got pulled, names got called, from under a rock, I just crawled. Used to eyes lock, job after job, in it for love, cause they were not. Used to think of all the above, never thought I, worthy of love. Used to get pissed, touched up and kissed, more than a shag, not on his list. Used to regret, odd guy I met, more than just fun, in the toilet, push them away. Used to I'd say, only to play, end of the day. Used to think charmed, there in my palm, shooting his drugs up through his arm. Used to act dumb, uncomfortably numb, seeing him shoot, drugs up his bum. Used to ignore, come at me more, used to sleep, I would lie born. Used to buy clothes, top man I goes, then I saw size, that's when I froze. Triple XL, got on the scale, thought bloody hell, size of a whale. 600 a week, membership card. Used to think shit, put in my pit, how much fat in this one chip. Used to count cows, went off the rails, down in the deep, dietary hells. Used to obsess, never undress, don't serve me, eat and miss. Used to watch weight, get into a state, 2 lettuce leaves, dinner on plate. Used to be slim, used to be trim, used to get wouldn't mind getting with him, knocking on wood. Used to look good, but never loved me, the way that I should. Boy, I've come far, since the gay bar, don't become a man, tell who I am, to tell who you are. Used to pull men over again, but this is me now, that was me then. Used to ride tubes, cruising for dudes, now what they see, belly and boobs. Now I'm not as fit, getting on a bit, now I get, look at the belly on it. Now I'm not slim, now I'm not trim, now I get better, get back in the gym. Now I'm so young, now I'm half hung, with these man boobs, bigger than mum. So I'm what's felt, but happy as felt. Eating more cheese, please on my mouth. Me and my bro, men stay low, men stay heat, never white show. We were once young, now getting stung. Muscle there is, malicious and tongue. Dare as we did, open the lid. Muscle there is, what a sort of rid. Big men our rage, get off the stage. Muscle there is, back in our cage. Used to be slim, used to be trim, used to get wouldn't mind getting with him. Used to be twink, here's what I think. Look in the mirror, muscle there in pink.
The various shades of melanin that continually conquer the earth are the same blends of excellence that can never be deterred. Once a strong Black woman has goals to shatter, she graciously humbles herself as Nubia with her magical sword and armor. It could be a misty night of studying, but her superhuman strength makes it look like light work when she's aiming for more than what you think she can offer. Sometimes we shrink ourselves to B-size to help you understand the game. Like Bumblebee, we fly away, hoping to not have to sting you to make our points plain. Our animalistic prowess is one of our superpowers, while our vixen behavior can make any man feel he needs to chase. But we like to be pursued. It's just in our nature. I am more than enough. We sometimes have a wild streak with a force field of debris, but some can't keep up with our strength and speed. Blocked by the wall created to keep out hating enemies. With sharp claws like panther, the ability to change our hair like storm clouds to sunny days, our looks change and transform so well, but you can't handle our silhouettes, so we shadow meld and fade away. More than just beauty, we have brains. Like flint, we're indestructible. Like bling, we're durable. Like Wonder Woman, we run circles around those that think we came to play. We control density, atmosphere, and electric energy just by sashaying into a room. We're like skyrockets, ready for combat with knowledge as our weapons to overtake you. Not always XS, sometimes larger than life, with curves for days. A lady of gold, she is not to be manipulated, but respected upon her throne. We're like Lady Hawk, trained and ready to fight, not just with our fists, but our words. We use them wisely so that days later, there's no question about what you heard. As melanated women, we thrive and come alive. You can't miss Marvel, because we are amazing, majestic, and beautiful from out to inside. From butter pecan and dark as the midnight sky, to the hues in between, our powers are sublime. From everyday Black women, actresses, doctors, and CEOs, to the little brown girls, learning the strength, courage, and wisdom they behold. Hey, Black girl, you are creative, talented, and a queen. You've got science, math, and spelling bees behind those glasses that you think make you look nerdy. Know your worth and the value that you possess. It's like thunder and lightning in your veins, and no one knows the best they can expect. Be who you can be. Wear your grace and beauty flawlessly, for your superhuman skills can't be touched, and you've got a tribe full of blended sisters lifting you up. We all possess a superhuman strength, but sometimes overpower ourselves with doubts and fear. But know that your strength is something you sometimes don't realize you hold so near. With the power to cross dimensions, we're just getting started. And with all of this kinetic energy, records are sure to be shattered and force fields altered. The world isn't ready for all that you have to provide. All of this emotion and strength comes from our ancestors that made you divine. You dare not go against this blended and melanated sister queen called she, for she's ready to take down any army that attempts to harm her, her friends, or her family. Respect she. I am NiSi. I am NiSi. What's up, beautiful people? I am NiSi, a multi-creative, art, visual art, makeup, poet, everything you could possibly name. I probably have something to do with it. For a collage of all things NiSi, you can find me at nisiseyes.com. That's NISISEYES.com. Again, NISISEYES.com. Continue to be the flawless masterpiece that you were always created to be. I'm out.
Most times I'm private, but I've been meaning to put a lot of things on paper, so here it goes. I wanted someone to know that I cry at great movies. I tear up during the news. Nowadays, 30 minutes of information is filled with terror and death. I love animals. I probably would never own one. I mean, maybe. I do like taking care of those who need taken care of. My mom raised me that way. I miss her every day. I secretly talk to her sometimes. I had a hard time forgiving God before now, but we all are His children. Still without my morning call and coffee from her, telling me that God is able. It gets hard. That anger, it lasted a while. I don't agree with others sharing my pain, but truth is, most times, they don't even care how you feel if they were willing to hurt you in the first place. But God says we should forgive, and my mom taught me to try to, said it was for me and not the other person, so I do. It's therapeutic. I write often. Sometimes it rhymes and sometimes it's painful, a description of a current situation. Not many poems I write you laugh to. That makes me laugh because my girlfriend says I'm funny. Not like how life is, like how excuses are not. When children lost their lives due to bad decisions from those who protect and serve, or when a mother can actually say out of her own mouth that her child got mutilated by bullets, 60 of them to be exact, from those sworn in to protect. It's not funny like Cremo the Third actually being brought in peacefully, because we're all used to that kind of funny, right? I'm unsure if this is a poem, but I write my feelings out sometimes. I guess sometimes might be one of my favorite words. My favorite poem is Sometimes I Do. I also wrote that and I performed it. It never won anything monetary, but I got a friend who asked me to do it at a show for Juneteenth, downtown Cleveland. That was one of the most special moments in my life. And another friend who asked that I perform it at his book signing, so it made me happy. And it felt like they saw me then, beyond the words, beyond who I used to be, beyond what I'll become. They always tell me I'll be great one day, and I sometimes wonder, is that later or now? And I can just completely see God's vision. That's a good question, huh? I love to love. Though I probably haven't done it properly ever, I still try because it's worth it. If effort brings a smile, most people could use a reason to do it anyways. So I never mind being corny because laughter is laughter. It heals like writing does, or singing, or reading, or painting, or praying. Outlets that can help you escape. Over the last few weeks I've wept and I've cried. Not because I'm hurting, but because others are. And there has been more funerals than birth, more funerals than weddings. So I just try and be peaceful, spread a little joy, spread some love. Tell you if you're reading this and hear this that things will be okay soon. Maybe not soon enough, but for some, just soon. Because I've learned that God is always on time.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
What if we stop calling them hotspots? Call them communities in recovery. Call them so untranslated they are hard to explain, but we try to find the words for them anyway. Call them fertile soil, sun-kissed, God's favorite still, not forgotten, a bit broken but not beyond repair. Call them bigger and badder than any dream you've ever had. Call them dandelions in the wind. What if we unsoak their names with shame and baptize them in whatever they'd like to be baptized in? Push back the blight out of their bones. Banish the bitterness from our tongues, so that when we say their names, the prison we make of our mouths becomes a playfield, a thriving space where joy roams freely without a leash, without a specific kind of lineage. What if we refuse the casket, the headline, the assumption, the nicknames, the profile, the lack of, the weapon, the stereotypes, the badness, the headline, the headline, the headline? What if we grab the inherent bias that lingers like debris after a storm by its neck and say, not today, not him, not her, not this place, not this time, not ever. Negotiate something that does not lead to grief. What if we demolish the cities of fear built in our hearts? That we vote out the oppressive forces in power. That we release all of the weight that must go on so we can carry the heavy. Replace it with something lighter, something palatable, and make the space we hold for them more affordable. What if we give them a chance to be
something other than a bad taste in the mouth? What if we say their names and there is no cringe, no hesitation, no rumor, no speculation, no body, no bullets, no uproar, no jeep, no patrol, no flambeau, no face on a white t-shirt with clouds, no mockery, no video footage of the event, no amen, no tears, no mourning, no missing, just walk. And a luck, jaw smiling, families happy and whole, no holes left in irreversible places, like a child's memory, like a mother's fight, or in someone who needed to be loved a little harder. What if every community is a field of flowers, a farmland, acres of fertile soil? What if instead of cutting them down, we let them grow tall so they could touch the sky? What if we douse them in light instead of burn them to the ground? Give them a chance to make something of themselves, to make themselves into something sweet. What if we let them do more than survive? Make it so that no one gets left behind.
I want to use my frontal lobe to get the God inside me to sing, to let my love dance and flow a fearless river movement, to have every vision materialize but leave the reverence abandoned. Because cash kills passion, and the lost child resting in my soul chose monetary fasting, hungry for creative guidance, not the cold green Benjamins. I want to use my frontal lobe to get the God inside me to sing, to let my lobotomies glimmer and glow new glitter, a gift of sunlight at the brink of dusk, but leave the reverence abandoned. Because there is no honor in midnight mutilation, let my luminous lacerations leave fertilized saplings, not forest infernos. My frontal lobe lit myself alive and incinerated the narratives written with my own blood. I want to use my frontal lobe to get the God inside me to sing, to let my lexicon comfort and grow faith, grace, and bless the death of family, so leave the reverence abandoned. Because my entire bloodline became struggling strangers, and no son should hate their father. I once longed to drown in my gene pool, poisoned from generations of heartbreak, but battling upstream strained my future. So I swam with time by my mother's request, to wrestle the damage once my frontal lobe matured. I want to use my frontal lobe to get the God inside you to sing, to let my lyrics shine and show chance. Chance to flower your garden of serendipity. Chance to preach your own success. Chance to leave the reverence abandoned. Because kindness is prideless, priceless, and endless blessing. Each thought is another angel waiting, wanting to breathe. Your heart is a wounded lamb, tired of silence. There is a God inside you, trying to rise, an immortal dream, a body destined for greatness. Inside you, a frontal lobe, bold and ready to break open and begin its song.
Right.
Thank you.
For God's sake, shouldn't we all wake up? Is the world asleep? Can't anyone see? There's hardly even a peep from any powers that be. Palestinians are dying, more murdered each week. Why aren't we all crying? How come we are so meek? Is it we fear being called anti-Semitic? All of us enthralled by spells hypnotic that Jews can do no wrong, for they have suffered so. Thus with them we go along. It's genocide, you know, and every baby murdered breeds a retribution. It is cruelly absurd to think murder's a solution. And why did Jews take Canaan? It is their promised land. promised by a madman, son sacrificing Abraham. Then Jews were dispersed till the Balfour Declaration, which Palestinians cursed as they feared they'd found a nation, by stealing much of their land, which they did violently. Can no one understand that it wasn't empty? What Hamas did was dreadful, but their treatment's been unfair, and evil begats evil, when no one seems to care. Is there no one who will speak and say, no more? Gazans are Shemites too, and nothing solved by war. Now, of course, we must have a two-state solution, and it has to be just and fair in execution.
Crisis writing number 18, also called Ode to the Broken Windows in My House. You persistent little fucks. You humbling reminder of our stumbling moments. The fly swatter swatted too hard. The arm crushing through you when someone's foot took a sleigh ride on a sock. The duct tape we never bought to coat how embarrassingly immodest you are. Why are there so many of you? Waiting to see how long it will take for someone to peck the little hazardous spikes of you from the tile floor is my favorite little experiment. You're everywhere. This is your home now. Reign over me, you bursted little aperture. You're like a portal to everything I've ever wanted, and yet I can't climb through you without stripping my skin, thin layer by thin layer, down to my blood. I want to pass through you so bad. Want to be you. Want to feel both sides of the world passing through the wounds in me. I want to be cracked open like you, want to be feared, want people to be afraid of walking through broken pieces of me, want the parts of myself I've shed to be strong enough to pierce the blood from anyone who dares to try to walk over me. I want your strength. I want to rule over someone the way that you do.
My black. My black. It be loud and boisterous. My black. It be raging and rambunctious. My black. It be the reason you want to see my head bow. See, my black. It be the reason that I'm 5'1", but my fro stands above the crowd. So my black be beautiful. My black be free. It's all encompassing, so my black, it be possessive. Taking back what claims is due. My black, it be brown, be purple, be emerald embers, it be fire, be bright, be vibrant. My black be ebonics, mnemonic, it's nuanced. Intelligence, it be record-breaking and soul-shattering. See, my black, it be powerful. See, it be that nutrient-dense earth, those ashes after volcanic eruption. So it be the reason I say it be versus it is. And it be the reason you still understand the words of this poem. See, my communication is still reaching the ears of its intended. My missive is not dismissive. So my black, it be present, it be past, it be future, it be timeless, it be my black. Go, it's honey hued. It's sugar sweet. It's dipped in that caramel and butterscotch. See, it be that masculine, feminine energy. It be the X and Y chromosomes both residing within my womb. It be my black. It be me. This duality, rambunctious exuberation, expressive exuberance, this extensive vernacular. It be hyperbole. Ever changing, ever evolving, it's bright as the darkest sun, so it be crepuscular. My black be sapphire, ruby, amethyst and rose quartz, lapis. They're born in the dark
under pressure to shine brightly, and the lights on my black be multifaceted, be gratuitous, my black be adding to this poem like it ain't finished yet. So my black, it be living, it be breathing, it does more than simply exist, so it be my black. Thank you.
Black Crow days. Their wings spread over the earth, and we tuned in to the call of the corvid. Cawing, clawing, clasping, crashing, slashing, trapped in our homes, senses dulled, whilst crows culled.
This poem started small, 8 lines on an imagined large fellow well turned out, reading his paper at a Paris cafe or something like that, watching the world go by. The more you look, the more you find. Ogma Sunface, eloquent and silent nearly, curbs his tongue, takes tea with lemon in a glass at his spot. Broadly ginger, whisker chopped, weary, no, wary of recognition. Ringtone set to Mahler's 5th, pleased to smoke a cigarette, scanned broadsheets, kept the days in view. The goose steps and convertibles, winter coats and summer dresses, a choking of the bread supply, and years of water shortage. A cafe shade. Ogma surveys the troubled and untroubled looks of people at their endless queues, hooks scandal from a city wind. Voluminous the handkerchiefs he gathers to his eyes, his nose to gasp. 1, 2, a chew. Lesser gods, fallen from their gift, land in a world pedestrian, and boulevarding on the cheap, breathe in dust particulates while drifting through the dailies, seek to find one tiny gain, the cheek, in echoes of their fortune, exiled comrades brought to light, flames extinguished in the sun, or news of some great debts repaid that might, at last, lead back to home, penalties exacted.
Hi folks, my name is Yeko Tamu. I go by the artist E. This is my submission, Eclectic Nigga. Eclectic Nigga, unfiltered early morning, before the coffee, before the art room, before I become. Eclectic Nigga. Forgot late last night that I, the eclectic nigga, took a picture of her. The eclectic nigga, unfiltered pose, practicing for someone else, not me, the other me. Eclectic nigga. While I looking for another photo, some photos, I saw me, but not me. The eclectic nigga. Stumbling through the early morning, thoughts half blind with pain. One thought peeks through, though. She is so pretty. I thought I should follow her, find out how to have great skin. I blink, switch, and she is me. Eclectic nigga. Thoughts of being kinder, I'm sure I would enjoy it. Passes unfiltered and then it's gone. Eclectic nigga. Red spray paint at their temples, highlights brown skin and old scars. Eclectic nigga. Lips that spoke, still speaking, will speak again in rapid fire staccato truth to power, but the power is out. So I speak to the stars and the ancestors, sipping wine in the corner of my mind, or is it the altar in the corner of the eclectic nigga? The originals, she, they, them, the robot, socially acceptable nigga. Eclectic nigga. One shoulder at a time holding up the world. Superhero until I'm not. Reverse. Eclectic nigga. Reverse. Eclectic nigga. Reverse. Clark Kente. Black signal in the air, no mask cut in half to show that I am one of them. 'Cause I'm not. I am the eclectic nigga.
People, we are caged animals in this world of venom and demise. They say that we are free in this here home with the brave, land of bigots, vagabonds, and peasants throwing high fives and peace signs as little boys do drive-bys, barely hold nines and token lunchboxes. This is our future on drugs, uneducated and set forth by materialistic exhibitions. I wonder we're fucked. Pockets are getting fatter and they damn sure aren't mine. Leniency of tension aren't in this taxpayer's pants. Credit was exceeded before it even started. Government optics got us on dummy Mission Impossible tactics, climbing corporate ladders, being sold off with every step we make. Pulled like puppets on strings, controlled and brainwashed by monetary means, and not realizing we're living in a life-size constitutional institute of public housing. Being regulated by the foul smell of air and sucking it all in like carbon monoxide. We're getting pimped, y'all. Pimped by Congress, fucked by the Constitution, and played like a hoe by Uncle Sam. And here they go again, denouncing terrorist plots of assassination. Curtains open. Red button pushed. Activation, mass genocide. America is in a state of 911. Golden boys and blue totes, guns capped off by donuts and coffee drops, can't tell us. Belly swollen by the jelly roll while innocent young soldiers die for the red, white, and clueless. But it's home, right? How about we just say fuck it like they say fuck us with intrusion, interrogation, and incarceration. Now I've seen those satellites aimed at rooftops eating away like acid raindrops trying to get to the inner core. Kidnapping sanctity with trials and tribulations, exploiting thoughts and freedom of speech like banished goods. And I thought self-expression was a right? Technology runs rampant. Numbers tracking us since birth. Number 2226, you are out of your area of designated poverty. Your library card now labeled as a red flag, and they know the day of the month I bleed freely. And that new navigational system you thought was luxury mapped out designation before arrival. And here we stand with hands over hearts pledging allegiance to clutch pocketbooks and wallets while ladies still let us know we still don't have it yet. But it's home, right? Right.
When the bombs start falling and people are marked on their hands, on their foreheads, on their backs, marked as us or them, light your lamps.
When peace is shattered into pieces and the shards are but more rubble on the streets, light your lamps.
When a generation of babies half a world away is raised by the missiles and shells, the only parents left to them, the missiles and shells, to show them how to live in this upturned world, light your lamps.
When those bombs and missiles and shells proudly bear the label Made in America, light your lamps.
When the food is not food and the air is not air, light your lamps.
When the water tap leaks lead, leaks arsenic, leaks uranium, light your lamps.
When the clock ticks down to 0, light your lamps.
When the calendar has turned its final page, light your lamps.
When birds fall from the sky because there is no sky left for them to fly, light your lamps.
When fish gasp for breath through our plastic, through our pollution, light your lamps.
When money writes the laws, and money decides the courtroom verdicts, and money is leader, and money is king, and money is milk, light your lamps.
When our country bends its knees to pray to the all-powerful God of profit, light your lamps.
When boys die on the street, on their front porches, in their backyards because uniform is afraid of skin, light your lamps.
When propaganda hijacks history, when truth is replaced with more comfortable fiction, light your lamps.
When you write a list like this, and it doesn't even feel like it matters, light your lamps.
When you feel like you don't matter, light your lamps.
When the quietest voice in the quietest house is afraid to even whisper above the stars, light your lamps.
When the loudest voice in the loudest house is filling others with fear, light your lamps.
When you need a map, when your sister needs a guide, when your brother has no home, light your lamps.
When your daughter sees a world that doesn't accept her for who she is, light your lamps.
When the snow is thick and the rain is thick and the smoke is thick, light your lamps.
When your child can only see darkness, despair, light your lamps.
When food has run out, when strength has run out, when faith has run out, light your lamps.
When we have food to spare, when we have strength to spare, when we have faith to spare, light your lamps.
When you stand in safety but know there are others caught in storms calling for help, light your lamps.
When, despite the misery and injustice in the world, you look up and see the sun setting so beautifully in the sky, light your lamps.
And sometimes, just because you're happy,
just because you are joyful,
just because you're tired,
just because you are celebrating,
just because you're bored,
just because you don't need any reason at all, light your lamps.
Wonder meant to look at, the touch is not worth the fragment, so watch it. Bring more to the table than income. Then I come with chairs and cares and no swears, and how I feel, I be placement of porcelain table settings. This fine china behind you in the place director seat with the heat of your regret. Now you don't want to eat, sit down and eat. You name it. I got verbs, similes, metaphors, rhymes, and illusions for your delusions in a thought of what I'm not. Charge of that, your battery runneth low, Romeo. The connection is not in the kitchen, the plug under the purging. You tripping over the oriental rug that I drug your mental through. A gentle, experimental, detrimental of wordplay, fundamental. Now go fund me some monumental, non-governmental checks, untraceable. Supplemental finance from my verbal dances that take pyramid scheme chances in your lower left vortex. Cerebral, that's memory. My allegory is short storyboard Emery, like nails dragging down the green treasury chest hoards full of red documentary. With a remedy for treachery, whether he wanted to get me, now he be Jeffrey, waiting on me to call him out. That's big energy, buzzing your sensory to my elementary. Get your shot of Hennessy. My misdemeanor is the missus between her. Our thoughts will have you look, shook, and took. I'm a crook. Now go sprinkle them flower lines and make me dough. You make no sense. Holly Quinn, I be porcelain kaolin artisan.
To the stranger who told me I was so disgusting, I should just do the world a favor and kill myself already. When I was 11, with the Tylenol, I left a note. I woke up. When I was 16, with the nitroglycerin tablets, I didn't leave a note. I woke up the last time my husband found me, trying to pound your shadow out of my skull, followed the blood trail back into my ear like a scarlet gore of breadcrumbs every day before, every day after, dear stranger. I was not born knowing how to hate this body. Dear stranger, I learned. Dear stranger, I Unlearn, dear stranger. Every day I am alive. I have done this world a favor, dear stranger. You're welcome.
My boys tell me about their first time. And I can hear the pain behind the pride in their eyes. I realize it's true that they don't understand that boys can be sexually assaulted too. You know, it starts when we just kids. Grown folk be talking about it saying, there go my future husband. Or where my little man at? There go my baby boyfriend. And once you try to check them, they're like, oh, you know I ain't being serious. I'm just joking around. Like we don't know all the best jokes have a little truth in them. I know because I was the punchline before. I just realized my own first time sounded like. And my own protective mother, she doesn't find out when it happens. She finds out years later because of a poem. You know what she says to me? Every parent just wants to protect their child. But our fears are so large because we know about our own parents that failed. And God, I never want to have that conversation with my son, Oba. But even God is everywhere at the same time and still watches their children die. Still watches these predators fixing their teeth because they know they can sexualize these little boys. We'll just say, he's a lady killer. Every single time an assault happens, it's a drowning. We call it a baptism of him becoming a real man. And called my toddler too cute for his own good. It don't sound like a compliment, it sounds like a warning. It sounds like, ain't nothing new under my sun. He look just like me with God. There gotta be something in these genes that don't turn into hand-me-downs. I'm not afraid of a metaphor, I'm afraid of my own memories, but I told myself, this pain will not be passed down in my family. There will be no generational curses to inherit. I rebuke a patriarchy that says we must wear all of these traumas like trophies, or that we must be silent in the face of those who gave us traumas in the first place. We tell our boys, don't smile too big in pictures, don't cry too loud when hurt, don't show fear in the face of danger. We turn our boys into abstract paintings, tell them to show us how they feel, and they get mad at them when we don't understand what they're trying to say. Y'all, 1 in 4 girls are sexually assaulted, 1 in 5 boys are touched, and those are only the numbers for those who speak up. I just want us to be accountable for once. We keep trying to put our kids into a child's place instead of putting them into a safe one. Protecting our children from the predators outside in the world and ignoring the ones that they are around every day is like putting them in a lit chimney to protect them from the forest fire outside. I do not want this to be the story of my family. I refuse to let it be the story of my family. I will teach my son that I'm always a safe place to come to. I will teach my son that we can express all of our emotions. I will teach my son that we can have all the conversations we want to have. I will teach my son there is a power in denying the things you do not want. I will teach my son how to say no. Even if I'm still learning how to say it myself.
A little girl with pigtails, smiling, wrong and vile. Her songs are sirens of barbed wire, with rusted nails as hands. She runs wing-kneed and biled, giggling.
Bunny. That's what they named me, Conejita, because I hopped and skipped when everyone else was walking, even when swimming in my dreams. We were poor. Papa had trouble finding steady work, but we had a good life, the three of us, with what he earned during the summer when the tourists came, and with Mama doing laundry and sewing at home so she could care for me. I started school, still a little rabbit, and for my birthday I got this as a gift, to carry my pencil and paper, my book, a sandwich made by Mama for lunch. And then the drugs came, with them violence, and the tourists stopped coming, but drugs and violence didn't. One day, Papa filled a small suitcase with some of his and Mama's clothes. She put things in my bunny backpack, and we started walking north, walking tired and hungry, sleeping hungry by the road, waking and walking again and again, wanting only for life to be good again on the north side of the river. Dreamers dreaming, sometimes drowning with their dreams.
We don't talk about suicide in the hood. We praise the Lord. Scream and holler like we trying to wake the dead. They must not have meant to do it. Acting like he just sleeping. Pretending she ain't choose to be there. And we listen to men preach about God's plans. Them, right there in that casket, had a plan. Found their fastest way out when I was 14. My upstairs neighbor's son committed suicide. My mother says she heard the shot, heard the body drop, heard his spirit fly right by, like he was in a rush. Maybe he was still running. Maybe he had someplace better to be, had to get there faster than a bullet once. I thought about running faster than a passing thought. Once, I heard of a 12-year-old queer child. Heard his name was Nigel. The news reporters say he killed himself. Say his bullies made him do it. They call this a tragedy. They call it an unfortunate act of God. And I remember thinking about this a lot. How lucky I was to have survived all this time. Thought myself blessed for not having been tempted away. However, now, I run from another's hands. Worried some man will make me an early ghost. Send my spirit rushing wild to someplace better, whether he is draped in navy blue or sexual confusion. Either way, church folks will say, I deserved it. Or the devil made him do it. That my death will get covered up in hallelujahs and praise worship. And the preacher will say, God wanted this. And maybe he did. Maybe the man who kills me will be God. Or at least treated like one. Whether him exonerated or my transness being blamed, in any case, I'll be the sinner. And maybe hell has a special place for me. Maybe this will be the first time I ever feel warmth. And that thought scares me to death. That dying could be the only heat I'll have in this life. Whether I choose it or somebody else chooses for me, what is suicide to a black trans girl? If I'm always considered my own demise, what is existing if I'm always the cause of my death in the hood? We don't talk about how life ain't always worth living. We simply try to live until it is, or until we can't help to keep from dying. Praise the Lord.
Sounds like rhetorical questions. Looks like less than $15 in an hour. No insurance. Feels like month to month, next month always the eviction. Like asbestos long underwear. It will protect your ass from the fire, but long term still kill you. Looks like toxic democracy. Sounds like you're not like those others. Feels like trapped in a body, in a box, wrapped in cellophane, oxygen thinning. Looks like the light at the end of the tunnel is a train. A slave catcher is shot after shot after shot is the bling of 50 stars. Feels like memories lost in a fog. Like forgetting the words to our narratives and the beat of our talking drums. Smells like so much seawater and leather for tanning. Sounds like chains rattling, hammering through metal links. Sounds like the first verse of a new Negro spiritual. And yet, we stay overcoming.
Call a doctor, better call two. Cause if one won't treat you, what you gonna do? Hope they do more than point, laugh and stare at you. That's a chance you take when you're trans in America. Someone needs a roommate, possibly another. Got kicked out by your mom, dad and brother. You can stay with me if you need someone to care for you. I know what it's like being trans in America. Toby needs a binder, Callie needs a name change so nobody can find her. If they ever did, it'd be back in the closet. Yeah, that's a risk you take being trans in America. Too many others hurt, too many more in need. Too many scared of coming out and losing everything. Gotta keep hope, cause life for us is never a real guarantee when you're trans in America. It's gonna take more than a bill or a law to kill our pride. You can't write us off, you can't count us out, can't make us run and hide. We're pushing right back, not gonna let anyone hold us down. You will not erase us now. It's messed up wondering how long you'll be alive. If you're black, trans and female, the expectation's 35. I hate you to your face, then admire your erotica. I'm more than a fetish, I am trans in America. Someone call a preacher, better make it two. Cause if one won't save you, what you gonna do? Sit back and laugh while comedians are mocking you. That's how they punch down when you're trans in America. It's gonna take more than a bill or a law to kill our pride. You can't write us off, you can't count us out, can't make us run and hide. We're pushing right back, not gonna let anyone hold us down. You will not erase us It's gonna take more than a bill or a law to kill our pride. You can't write us off, you can't count us out, can't make us run and hide. We're pushing right back, not gonna let anyone hold us down. You will not erase us now. It's gonna take more than a bill or a law to kill our pride. You can't write us off, you can't count us out, can't make us run and hide. We're pushing right back, not gonna let anyone hold us down. You will not erase us now. Someone call a doctor, better call two. Cause if one won't treat you, what you gonna do? Hope they do more than point, laugh and stare at you. That's a chance you take when you're trans in America.